Nice day outside today of this Olympic arena. Welcome, everyone. This is the Tennis Masters Cup semi-final. Marat Safin, the Russian, and Agassi for the USA. Marat Safin, as we just mentioned, his first time here at this year-end event, but he has won this year, Patrick, 7 titles, including the big one, the US Open.
Right, a couple of Masters series, as I mentioned, Toronto outdoors and hard court indoors in Paris, pretty similar to this surface that we're playing on here in Lisbon. Also won a couple of clay court events in Europe, and Safin really started off the year poorly, especially at the Australian Open, where he got fined for actually giving up on a point. But Marat Safin clearly turned it around the second half of the year.
For more on this match, let's go down to our man, Mel Washington at courtside. Hey, Mel.
Cliff, the last time these two players played, it was an absolute battle. Back in '98 in the first round of the French Open, Agassi loses to Safin in a tough 5-set battle. Then in '99, Agassi beats Safin in a 4-set battle in the finals of the Paris Open. My point is, I think today could be a battle. In talking with Brad Gilbert, he says a couple of things are going to happen for Andre Agassi. Safin is one of the few players that can hang with him from the baseline, so his biggest key is going to be the return of serve. Safin can hit a lot of big serves, ace of service winners, so it's going to be big for Agassi to jump on top of Safin's serves early like Sampras did yesterday. For Safin, he has to get off to a good start, play the kind of tennis that brought him to the #1 spot. If he does, he'll clinch the #1 spot for the year. Cliff?
Thanks, Mel. 2-1 in favor of Andre Agassi over Marat Safin in the head-to-head. Safin first point. Mel, when all is said and done, who are you picking here today?
Cliff, before this tournament started, I said that it was going to come down to Safin and Kierton for the #1 spot, which it has. And I also predicted that Kierton and Safin would be in the finals.
Ooh, you're going to stay with that?
I have to stay with that. I can't go back on my word.
Okay.
But with that said, that's very questionable based on the tennis.
Here comes the butt. Here it comes.
Based on the tennis Agassi and Sampras have played in the last 2 days. But there's no way, after my prediction before the tournament, I can actually go back on my word. So
I'd let you, having seen what you've seen.
We do it all the time. Don't worry about it.
Well, you know, I'm above that. I'm sticking with Kierton and Safin.
Okay, well done. 30 love Safin. Shaky start from Agassi, and in the 3 matches that we saw, well, it was a little shaky start in his first, but after that he fired quickly and dangerously from the first point.
And after the start that Safin had yesterday, he got frisked right off the back cliff against Sampras. Good start for him there. An easy hold for Safin at love. Beats Sampras, the aforementioned, coming up at 9 o'clock tonight. You can see that one as he takes on Guga Kierten. What a lineup. This is great. I mean, the two old guard, Agassi, Sampras, the 2 young guys who are the 2 best of the young guys, Kierten and Marat Safin. It really could not have worked out any better for the tour, for this year-end event. The first time that it's been a joint venture between the ATP and the ITF, who run the Grand Slam. So gosh, everyone in tennis getting along and working out.
You know, Kierten's on the edge. I mean, he's 24 years old.
On the edge of what?
Well, being one of the young guys.
Middle age, right.
You know, this Safin is a 20-year-old, and
well, okay. Now,
Hewitt's only 19.
Played 5 points so far, Cliff, and Agassi has 3 unforced errors. In the entire first set against Kafelnikov, Agassi made 2 unforced errors. Speaking of that win over Kafelnikov, that was sandwiched between a 3-set win over Gustavo Kierten in the first match, and then in his third match, he easily disposed of Magnus Norman 3-2. To the corner. Beautiful play from Safin there.
Patrick, I was looking at some numbers on Agassi. Remember that match that he played as you watch this replay here with Sampras at the Australian Open this year? You know how many unforced errors he had in that in 3 hours?
Maybe 9?
19.
Oh, sorry.
It's still a pretty good number.
Yep, Agassi's pressing early because he has, as Brad Gilbert told Mal, he knows that he can't dictate play against Safin the way he could have, really against all the guys in his group. He does, Safin has as much, if not more power than Agassi off the ground, and Agassi's feeling that here early.
Break points for the Russian.
Totally different Andre Agassi so far than we've seen in his round-robin matches. Well, it's a good play there from Safin, though. Good grip. He had that forehand volley, too, that he's practicing. That's the area of his game that needs a little work.
Well, you said that. You can say that again, Patrick. He has not volleyed well these last couple of days. It's really let him down. Anything, as you said earlier, below the level of the net, and he's in trouble.
Still break point here. It's a good move, though, by Safin to attack that second serve. That could pay off right here. Agassi got away with a short second serve there.
My question is, if they both, you take the serve out of this thing and you start them on the baseline, who's going to end up winning?
It's close. It's not. It's against anybody else in the world, you're going to say Agassi. But I'm not quick to jump to that right against Safin.
Deuce.
There, look at that return. He's got such a short backswing on that return, Safin. He generates so much pace with it. Very little effort. It's just like Agassi. Let's see if Safin can do a little bit better with this second on break point number 3.
No, that one sails. Deuce.
Tell you, Safin has got some chances here because Agassi looks tight to me.
Yeah, but he may just be. This is early stages.
No, I know,
and maybe just be working through it.
That's why it's important for Safin, I think, because if Andre starts to get over these early nerves, he could start to click it in. He's not serving well in the opening game as well as he has in the whole week. That's a good one out wide.
And this game could end up being an important game. You can get on top of Safin if you can get on top of Safin like Sampras did yesterday.
And you can also get on top of Agassi. I mean, we all know that he's a guy who plays so much on confidence. Big for him to pull out this game, Agassi.
Double fault. First. Yeah, it's only the second game of the match, but as early as this is, it sometimes tells a story that lasts through the rest of the set.
But ace
balances the double fault. Game point again.
Oh, look at that. That was the best second serve, actually, that Agassi has hit in that ad court. Look what Safin does with it. He's got the reach, the extension. Just leans on that ball. That's what happens when you're 6'4" and as agile as Safin is. He is very dangerous out wide off the return.
Oh, he's down, and Agassi hits the net. He slipped on the court yesterday. When Mal talked to Sampras after the match, Sampras said that Safin doesn't move that well. That's a direct quote.
Well, I don't know if I'd totally buy that. He's a little, maybe quickly going when he has to change direction. You saw him make some unbelievable gets, though, against Sampras.
Right, I was surprised that Sampras said that.
Oh, look at that. I mean, that's scary. Agassi just trying to unload on a couple of backhands to see if he can push Safin off the baseline. like he does against everybody else. And look what Safin says. No, I'll just go right back with you and then just unload up the line. That sends a message to Agassi right there. You cannot out-hit me, said Safin. But that's where Agassi can get the edge. He's got to work Safin a little bit more in the corners. He can control the point, I think, a little bit better, pulling Safin wide.
I agree.
Safin's dangerous out there. If you can get him on the move.
I think you're going to find Safin hitting a few more unforced errors than Agassi from the baseline. Answering my own question, if you put them both there, I'll give the edge, albeit a very slight one, to Agassi. Game point. More margin on Safin's shots than Agassi's. Which makes Agassi a streakier player.
Oh, this is just beautiful tennis here. I mean, Safin is just munching on Agassi's second serve, which is going to be a problem all day for Andre if he first serve percentage is low. And then this time, Safin has him on the move. Well, you saw the backhand winner up the line. How about on the forehand? Early preparation.
Safin has 5 clean winners.
And look where he is, Cliff.
Yeah.
Inside the baseline. See, the problem for Agassi, I feel even in this first game that he's pressing a bit on his first serve.
Slipped again.
Oh, that's a good play from Agassi. Safin tried to take a little pace off the ball.
Safin's gone down a couple of times already. I wonder why. Because this court grips very well.
See if we can see it here, Cliff. Just going to slide outside there, and Ballon used to growing up on that clay in Spain, where he spent most of his teenage years. That's why.
No, that's right. Yeah, let's tell that story. He was 14 years old. The old Soviet Union was no longer running his country of Russia, and there was really not much help for tennis players. So he went to Spain, Barcelona, where all the Spanish guys practice, learned to speak Spanish, and he felt was very formative in his tennis years.
Oh, that return. See Gilbert saying, oh man, look at that return just off the missed serve. Didn't like that. Oh yes, good play from Safin. Again, the range. See, what happened in the round robin matches for Agassi, Cliff, was that he was able to use his first serve with a little more of a percentage play. Kick it out wide, kick it down the middle, hit a high percentage instead of going for big first serves. Today, so far, he's trying to hit big first serves because he's afraid, I believe, of the Safin return. So that's a big one. He gets that one there, but he doesn't feel confident that the kick serve or those mid-speed serves are going to work against Safin.
In other words, he feels that if the both of them on the baseline, he may not have the advantage.
Couple of good serves from Agassi there.
We are nearly 13 minutes into this match, and the score's 1-0. It's been going on forever.
Game point for Agassi.
Yeah. Going for a little too much for Safin, and it's one apiece. That was a big game, I believe, for Agassi. He made one very good approach shot, deep and wide of the backhand. Safin got it back, and he missed the volley. I wonder if that is going to He's going to send the message to Agassi that he need be very careful about when he comes into the net.
We've already seen in this first game something Brad Gilbert told me he was concerned about, and that was the ability of Safin to hang with Andre from the baseline. We saw it in those first two games with the winners he was able to hit. Now right here is where Brad Gilbert said Andre needs to take advantage of the serve if he can of Safin. But that is the problem. Safin has the ability to hit a lot of aces and service winners. Brad was saying that if Andre is able to jump on top of Safin the way Sampras was early yesterday, Safin might get that hang dog look, and maybe Andre can be out of this match in 2 sets.
That's why the last game was so important, Mel. 15 love.
Safin in the round robin started a little bit slowly against Alex Corretja, the Spaniard, but he came back to win that. Actually, Corretja served for the match.
5-3 in the second, yeah.
And then Safin over Leighton Hewitt easily. And then after he clinched his place in the semis, got drubbed by Pete Sampras yesterday. 3-2. That's where Agassi can make his move. Attack the second serve. He's going to have trouble returning the first serve, of course, of Safin, because it's so big. But make a move quickly, Safin. Great play there from Agassi.
No.
That was a beautiful return there from Andre. Good job by Safin to slice that one-hander back and make Agassi hit another tough shot. All. That's a big Agassi return there. He's reading that one up the middle.
These are like two bulldogs going at it, and I think they both know that the first one to flinch could be in trouble. A quick start against guys like this on this surface is so big. In the air when he hit that two-hander. Game point Safin.
Gets Agassi on the run with it down the line. Good stretch from Andre to stay in it, but routine backhand there. Short backswing and just accelerates through that ball so nicely.
Game to Safin. Boy, it has been a war so far, hasn't it? And neither one has flinched yet. 2-1, Safin on serve.
Safin is appearing here in the year-end championships, and Safin won the Tennis Masters Series in Paris this year.
That match that you just saw some highlights of was the last time these two have played. Close, indoors, very similar surface, very similar conditions.
King
15 love Agassi. A reminder that we have in the semifinals today here in Lisbon the 4 Grand Slam winners for this year. 9 o'clock tonight Eastern time. You can watch the second semifinal. Again, 2 Grand Slam winners, Gustavo Kuerten and Pete Sampras. Agassi won the Australian. Marat Safin won the US Open. First set 2-1. Safin leads 15-all. Oh, again the volley error. Agassi had got all sorts of opportunities there. Could have gone for the topspin lob, decided against it. Safin should have made this volley.
Really should have. It was a good pickup there to get it back deep. And at full stretch, he was right on top of the net. Keep that wrist a little bit firmer.
30-15.
Interesting, though, that you look at the court positioning of Agassi. He's a good 1.5 to 2 feet behind the baseline in a lot of these rallies. Normally, of course, we know he likes to camp out right on the baseline. He can push his opponents around. But I think he feels that he might be a little better off in this match, giving himself a little more room. Maybe playing a little more defensively.
Sort of a power concession. Oh, man. Game point for Agassi. Two games all first set. Safin has had 4 break points. He hasn't broken. Agassi has not had a chance yet on Safin's serve. At stake here for Marat Safin, a place in the finals, and as importantly, #1 in the world at the end of the year. He will go down in history as the #1 player for the year 2000 if he beats Agassi.
He'd be the youngest one ever since the computer ranking started. That's the type of point that Agassi wants to play. Moving Safin around, using all of the court. This is the final blow right here, the backhand wide. You can get Safin stretched out to have to hit that one-handed backhand. Agassi's in good shape. Well, he read that serve. You can see Agassi moving. That's something that he's probably worked on, thought about, is trying to read that serve of Marat Safin. Paid off there, love 30, a chance for Agassi to break. And look at Agassi standing way back here. He's going to try to moonball it a little bit. It's a smart play. See, he gave him a different look. He didn't moonball it, but he gave himself a little more room. Sometimes that's enough, just where you return the ball from. Mess up the timing of your opponent. 3 break points for Agassi. No, that's not a bad time to try to hit the clean winner. It's love 40. Although you do have to be concerned about the big bombs from Safin. But if you're going to go for it, you might as well try to love 40. Still got 2 more shots.
He's got a little breathing room, but you know that can be closed in a hurry when you've got big servers like Sampras and Safin on the other side. Another chance for Agassi. He got it on the line on the return, clean winner. Slow to move to the sidelines, the Russian. I wonder if Agassi has just sent him a message that he doesn't particularly want to get. We'll find out. 3-2, Agassi with a break first set. Agassi's got the break. He leads 3-2 in the first set against Marat Safin in the semi-final of the Tennis Masters Cup Sunday Night Football. It is the Green Bay Packers and Chicago Bears at 8:30 p.m. from Soldier Field. Coverage beginning with NFL prime time at 7:30 p.m. And then on Monday night,
of course, on ABC, Kansas City at New England for the Monday night showdown. Not quite the matchup that they had the first half of the season for the Monday night game. The team struggling a little bit.
3-2, Agassi leading first set. Tennis is fun to watch too, isn't it? I mean, it's very powerful. It's very aggressive. There's a lot of serving, but we've only seen 2 aces in the match.
Agassi didn't. I don't think he liked that call. It looked like he was going long that return from Safin, but no argument from Agassi. I think a good sign though for Agassi. The first 2 points, he spun the serves out wide, looking to set it up. Again, though, Safin the one on top of the baseline, but Agassi, good tactical move. He's showing he's not that stubborn after all. Standing a couple of steps back, it's giving him a little more time, and he's also making him have the ability to move Safin a little bit more.
30-15.
The longer the point goes, the better for Agassi.
I agree.
Instead of using his power off the ground, Cliff, as he does against most players, Agassi is using more his consistency in this matchup with Safin. And now with that overhead, they're actually exactly even in the stats. It was Safin who was in control the first 4 games, but now they both have 7 winners.
Game point.
That's the play that Agassi loves. The wide serve, opening up the court for Andre.
So the first Grand Slam champion of the year, Andre Agassi of the Australian, now in control of the first set with a break 4-2. He's taken on the winner of the last Grand Slam event, which was the US Open, where Marat Safin took out, bludgeoned actually, Pete Sampras in the final in a match that I think stunned everybody that saw it. 2-4.
Key now will be how Safin responds. He got down on himself yesterday when he got down a break early against Sampras. Will he get down again today, or will he work his way back into it and fight his way back into it? Just such power off the ground. Going toe-to-toe with Agassi, and then again the backhand up the line. A lot of margin on that ball too. 30 love. Well, Safin looked like he just twisted his ankle there badly. I think it was a left ankle. Looked like it got stuck in the court, or maybe no, the right ankle he's holding now. Bill Norris now the trainer is right out there. ATP Tour trainer. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, he was already falling down, and then he tried to push off with that right foot. not look particularly good there, and Safin taking a lot of time. Agassi with a wrong footing move has worked a few times against the 6'4" Russian. See if he can push off here on the serve.
30-15 second serve. Out. 30-all. Now, Patrick, you of all people know and talk about how you need mobility when you play against Agassi.
Yeah.
You cannot lose it.
No, you can't. And Andre will test it immediately. There's Bill Norris, the tour trainer.
30-all.
Oh. It looked like it bothered him in the setup here. Like that, taking out a little frustration here with this forehand.
Seems to be moving fine.
Yep. Well, sometimes you just tweak it a little bit and it hurts for a second or two and it goes away. A real mild twist.
Game point. Safin is the serve speed king for the week. He's up at about 133, which was the biggest of the tournament. I mean, he really cranks it, and he's got a terrific serve motion. You mentioned 6'4", he's tall. Comes from a great height.
Got it.
Whoa, Agassi showing you that he's not having any trouble moving. Missed it, though.
Great hustle from Agassi there. Safin unloaded on this backhand. Good angle, and Andre did well to get it low. And a great scramble and smack at that forehand. Oh! Very well, those angled ground strokes from Agassi when he's gotten Safin outside the singles court. That's where Safin's made quite a few of his errors.
Yeah, he has more unforced errors than Agassi now.
15-13. Oh, yes, measures it up the line.
I think Safin's got to be careful about getting into the net. He doesn't volley well enough yet. Watch this.
Well, I guess he used this ball to bring him in. He kept it low. That's not his favorite shot, Safin. I was actually surprised he got it in. And then Agassi just, you know what he does when he has time on the pass.
Yeah, I mean, I know that was slow motion. It made it look like he even had more time, but he did have a lot of time, and you could just see him measuring at break point.
The problem Agassi seems to be having so far, Cliff, is with his shirt. he's having to button that second to top button. He's hitting right out of his shirt.
Game point, Safin. I like talking about shirts and short. I like these shorter shorts that the guys are wearing, those baggy things that come right down to below his knees that he used to wear all the time.
See those muscles and those quads there.
Yeah.
But I think Andre is the only player on the tour who actually wears a full button-up shirt. There are buttons all up and down that shirt.
He's always made fashion statements, hasn't he, since he burst onto the scene. This was about 14, 15 years ago.
That's when he had long flowing locks and blonde hair. He is in control of this match. Maybe that's being too kind to him, but he's got a break. 4-3. Agassi leads Safin of Russia semifinal in Lisbon. Sampras in the final of the U.S. Open. Safin the winner. Safin now against Andre Agassi. And later today, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, join us for the other two Grand Slam winners, Gustavo Kuerten and Pete Sampras. That's to see who plays the winner of this one that you're watching.
Agassi holding up the new balls here. 4-3. Safin's cranked up his serve today, Cliff. You know, yesterday against Sampras, he only went over 200 kilometers 9 times in the match, which 200 is about 125 miles per hour. And today, so far against Agassi, he's cranked it up over 210 times already. He's got a little more inspiration today than he had yesterday against Pete. Knew he was in the semifinals already. Drops in. Well done from Safin. He pumps his fist. Obviously, excuse me, Cliff, the ankle's feeling okay. This was a bad volley by Agassi, and this probably wasn't the smartest shot either. Safin was right on top of the net. I mean, we've seen Agassi pull off so many of those. You can't really question his move.
We got to point out that Safin is green as a player. I mean, talk about major championships. Yeah, he won the U.S. Open, but he's done hardly anything outside of that at the majors. And Andre Agassi is in the record books. I mean, he's a history maker. He's won all 4 Grand Slams. One of only 5 players in history to do that.
Nice to see, isn't it? Agassi and Sampras not quite ready to let these guys stake their claim just yet, are they?
Well, the nicest part to me, Patrick, is that Agassi looks like he's ready for another year's major tour.
Yeah, it sets up a nice nice year coming up in 2001 as well. The serve from Agassi. Back to 30 all. Safin with 7 tournament titles in 2000. Agassi with just that one at the Australian Open.
Safin didn't play his first Grand Slam, which was Roland Garros, until '98, a couple of years ago. Oh, what a passing shot. Agassi with a game point. Big point there.
And that was the one where Safin beat Agassi in Roland Garros in '98, and also beat Kuerten, who at that time was the defending champ. Agassi, great pass there from well beyond the baseline, able to find that angle. Game point, Agassi.
Game to Agassi, 5-3 Agassi. Remember the first time we saw Safin was in Georgia when it was the USA and against Russia in the Davis Cup. And it was the first day, wasn't it, that these two played, and Agassi just destroyed him.
He did, yeah. He was real green then, Safin.
But remember the last match, that was with Jim Courier. Safin had him, as I remember, like 2-0 and a break or something like that. He was way up on him anyway.
Way ahead, yeah.
And Courier came back and beat him. Some very good strategic play from Courier. Uh-oh, he's down again. This is the 4th time that he slipped.
Comes Bill Norris is coming out quickly now.
How a couple of guys slip on this court, Patrick. I'm still amazed by it, though. the deal, Mel?
Well, after the first time he slipped and slightly turned his ankle, he didn't seem to have any major effects from it, but he's just continued to slip, and now I definitely think he's going to get a little treatment from Bill Norris, the ATP Tour trainer.
Do you, Mel, have any explanation as to why these guys are slipping on a court that usually holds the feet very well?
I really don't, because I haven't seen all week long anyone really slip on this court, and it's strange that just now all of a sudden in the last 10 minutes or 15 minutes, Safin has gone down a couple of times. Same ankle, that right ankle. It might be worth getting it taped before he continues.
You can see the soles of his shoes are, it's not like they're like flat or anything. There's plenty of tread on them.
There's also, we were talking about this in the court earlier in the week, Cliff, is that there's sand built into this court. And after the players play on it for a while, the sand, you know, they rub their shoes against the sand comes up slightly, which is why they sweep it and they sort of vacuum it in between matches. And that may be what he's been slipping on. And you know, if you look closely, you can see some marks, especially on the outside of the court. And maybe he's just slipping on the sand a little bit.
Now, that is not something that I would have thought of, but it is certainly a responsible explanation. You were taking a look there at Bill Norris there for a while. We used to call him Denver because he looks a lot like John Denver. He's been on the tour as a trainer since really the start of the ATP, that man.
The only other thing I can think of is if maybe if Safin has been wearing the same pair of shoes the last 3 or 4 matches, as a pair of shoes gets a little older and a little more worn, it loses a little bit of its firmness and stability, and maybe that could be the cause why his ankle has gone over 2 times in the match.
He looks like he's in a little pain also. Let's take a look at his face as he goes down here.
Well, this didn't look good here. We saw the replay just a second ago, and you could see it really turned over. And that obviously was not feeling too good. But also just because Agassi's making him run so much, he's way outside the court. You can see him already going to grab that right ankle there. Yeah, both hands on it.
Is he getting it taped, Mal?
It appears like he is going to get his ankle taped.
That would seem to be the natural thing to do, because that's going to prevent any injury to the ankle for sure. Just remind you, everybody, Cliff Drysdale here, Patrick McEnroe alongside Malavia Washington at courtside, and I think that the announcement has just been made that he's obviously taking the 3-minute timeout that he needs. So we'll take a break while he gets attended to, and we'll be back to Lisbon in the Tennis Masters Cup semi-final. Agassi and Safin after this. This is Lisbon in the Tennis Masters Cup. Everyone, a look at this man from Russia, Marat Safin, who has just had his ankle taped expertly in this whole 11,000 people saw it on the big screen here as Bill Norris did his work on Safin. Now, that ankle is not going anywhere, believe me, because it was expertly taped, and it's going to be fine for the rest of the match. Whether the fact that he's not used to ankle taped and now he's having to play with it that way affects him or not, Patrick, I don't know. You think so?
It could. I mean, I never liked having my ankles taped. I always felt like it just felt really bizarre, but some guys tape their ankles all the time, so it's just a question of how you can deal with it here.
Leighton Hewitt's one of them, and I think Michael Chang has his taped all the time too.
Well, they wear those little those ankle wraps. Some guys who actually go, you know, tape on. Agassi has not been affected by the delay.
First game, second set, love 30.
Love 30.
Winner by Agassi, 2 points. Excuse me, it was not the second set, of course. This is now set points for Agassi.
Continuing to make Safin move at full stretch. Let's drop volley into the open court.
Double fault in the set's history in favor of American Agassi in the semi-final. Looking very solid now. On the other hand, Marat Safin having physical problems as well as problems with Agassi. Back in a minute. In time on ESPN will be between Sampras of the USA and Kirtan of Brazil. Let's go down to Mel Washington now, courtside. Mel?
Bill Norris, you're the ATP Tour trainer. You were just taping up Marat Safin. Has he had any problems with his right ankle throughout the week?
One time in his first match, he turned his ankle a little bit, but not to like this extent right now.
Is there any reason why? I mean, is it the cord? Have guys been complaining about the cord and slipping a little bit that you have noticed?
Yeah, most of the guys have switched to a shoe that doesn't have much tread on it because it is a bit sticky. So they changed their shoes for that.
Now, I noticed you had given Safin some type of, was it an anti-inflammatory or anything along that nature?
Yeah, just a basic over-the-counter anti-inflammatory.
Bill Norris, thanks. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
First point, second set.
Needless to say, Cliff, not exactly the guy you want to be playing when you're having trouble with an ankle.
Mobility, exactly.
It's interesting though to hear that from Bill, that the players have switched shoes as this week has gone on.
That's a smoother shoe that he's suggesting, you know, to sort of to balance how
sticky the court is. Yeah. Normal shoe with the ridges on the bottom has been sticking a lot to the court. Especially a lot of these European players, Cliff, and they grew up on clay and they're used to sliding a little bit. And a lot of them do it even on hard courts and indoor surfaces and don't hurt themselves. And you can see Safin struggling to get there, to get out wide. Looking very disconsolate now. Looking over at his coach in the corner. Does not seem to be able to put all his weight on that right ankle. Agassi taking full advantage with his second ace to hold serve and love to open the second set.
So he's got the first set 6-3 and he leads one game to love.
Who am I missing at 4? Washington, that's right. Pac-10 team. 6 of the last 7 games here for Agassi.
This is the moment that will decide this match. Marat Safin is going through the motions at the moment, and if
I think it's already been decided,
well,
Cliff.
we'll see.
I know that's what you're getting to.
Yeah. I guess I should put it this way. If Safin has any chance, he has got to make his move now, because if he doesn't, it's too late.
The only chance is now if maybe he gets a game or 2 under his belt and can still hold serve is that he starts to not worry about the ankle anymore. And so, you know, it's not bothering him. A lot of times you see guys sprain their ankle, get it taped up, be very cautious for a couple of games, and then once they realize that maybe it's not going to get any worse,
It's too late.
no, that they're able to continue.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're able to continue and start moving better. A lot of winners in the early stages for Safin. That was his 13th winner. A lot more errors for Marat Safin, 22 to just 16 for Agassi. Agassi taking advantage of his break point opportunities a lot better. 2 for 4. Safin 0 for 4. All coming in that crucial opening service game of Agassi.
It was a big game. We sort of knew it at the time. But Agassi was able to hold on.
Still game point for Safin here.
Second serve.
It's amazing how Agassi can take that volley, that half volley right off the baseline. And, you know, it looks so routine. There's pretty much no one else in the world that can do that. Agassi just did in that point.
Not as well as he can. Again, I remember talking to his dad, Mike, years ago. I'm talking 15 years ago, probably. And he said that's what he had Andre do, just stand on the baseline, wouldn't let him back up, and that's how he learned to hit off volleys from the baseline.
Not to mention a little God-given ability helps.
That too.
Well, the head is hanging low now.
Break point, Agassi. Safin's chances of being number one at the end of the year are not certain yet. He's got to beat Agassi, and that would solidify it for him. They're still pretty good, though, because Gustavo Kuerten is the only one who can overtake him.
He's got to beat Sampras
and then Agassi.
Probably Agassi. Well, then he'd have to beat Agassi, because then Safin would be out. So he might slide in the back door. Safin.
Marat Safin has another break point against him. This is his first serve game of the second set. He is down 1-0, and he's down a set. 2 breaks. But it's deuce. And again, Safin. Well, let's see. We were talking about how important the second game of the first set was, which Agassi finally held on to. And we're not in the same position. Because in that time we were talking about a battle of strategy and desire and who was going to make the first move. It turned out that Agassi was able to make the first move and held on and won the set behind 2 breaks of serve. This is more a question of Safin, his attitude right now, and his health. His body language is terrible at the moment.
Oh, yes. Not able to put too much weight on that foot there, Safin, as he leaned to this pass from Agassi. Watch that, Safin. There's no ability to really explode off his right foot, and Agassi taking full advantage. Beautiful movement. Look at that early preparation, guiding it with the left hand on the backhand. Back to deuce.
He's able to move okay from the backhand side to the forehand, it looks like. It's the other way that he's a little ginger about stepping on that side. Game point, Safin.
Yeah, because he puts most of his weight to move when he moves quickly to the forehand on his left ankle.
Up shot and
Oh,
we got
stab.
it.
It's good.
Yeah, that's the best part of the match.
Coach and girlfriend enjoying that. And Safin moved his feet pretty well. That one just hit the line. And then right there with the stab. You can really see where that went. Look at the footwork here from Safin. Where it's the right foot that's been bothering him, the one on the left of your screen. Looked pretty good in that point. Maybe it is starting to loosen up and not give him too much trouble. I'm getting dizzy watching this. Look at this guy go. Look at that, his foot going the other way there. That's how he hit that volley.
A few whistles from the crowd because they wonder whether he's giving it his all, and he's sort of shrugging to the crowd and half-hearted clap. Agassi 15 love, 1 game all second.
I like that reaction. It's like, what's the problem? I'm working out here. You just kicked the ball.
Missed it.
Second double of the match for Agassi. (30-15) at 1 all second set. Two straight doubles.
Sometimes it's not that easy playing against a guy that's injured. 30 all.
That's funny.
He's apologizing to the crowd.
That's hilarious. Oh, that's good. I like this guy.
He's got a good sense of humor.
Agassi pressing a little bit in this game.
Should mention that in Portugal, English is pervasive. It's not like Spain, for example, or Italy. Most of these southern European countries, even France, where sure they speak a lot of English, but here, when he says sorry, sorry, sorry to the crowd, they understand exactly what he's saying.
Players with some loose errors in this game. The unforced error is growing for Safin up to 30 now. It's just 12 in this set, only in the third game.
Game point, Agassi. Oh, nice from Safin. Reminder that if he beats Agassi, he'll be the #1 player for this year, 2000. The race for number 1.
And now the crowd is starting to get into Safin's corner a little bit. Tough to bother Safin with height on the ball. He's 6'4", and he handles those high balls. A little leg kick. Starting to push off that right ankle a little bit better here. Back to deuce at 1-all.
Agassi has not been broken.
Not since his opening match with Kierton, Cliff.
Testing the mobility of the Russian, and it works for Agassi. Game point. Mentioned yesterday that drop shot from Agassi is a very legitimate shot. In the early days when he used to play it, I used to look at that and say, well, he doesn't really care about this, you know, if he's hitting that low percentage play. But honestly, now it is part of the arsenal that is this great game of Agassi's. Game point. That one goes wide, and Agassi holds on. So the Australian Open champ leading the US Open champ for this year. First set 6-3, now 2-1. We are in Lisbon. This is the Tennis Masters Cup. Top 8 players in the world came here.
Me for that long, Safin with his first Grand Slam title. Now back here in Lisbon. The first point in game 4 goes to Agassi.
Pete also said Safin reminded me of myself when I won my first US Open. I was 19. Safin 20 years old now. Love 15. Sampras still the youngest ever to have won the US Open.
Beat Andre Agassi in the final that year, Cliff, right?
Yeah. Beat Lendl. I think he beat your brother that year.
Yeah. Lendl in the quarters, my brother in the semis. Now Agassi showing that his footwork is on. He gets up to those short balls very quickly.
Look out now for Safin. It was about this time in the first set that he lost his first serve game, and he was never able to recover. As you said, Agassi, fleet of foot, gets to that one, and he's got break points here, a whole host of them. Safin says 1, 2 more for Agassi.
It's only his second ace, Safin, and that's a number that's got to be higher for the Russian against Agassi. He needs more free points on his serve. Hasn't gotten that many.
There's another one. One more getting back even in this game, but he needs it badly. Lisbon, Portugal, hosting this Tennis Masters Cup.
It's only one, Cliff. Safin, 36% of the points on his second serves.
Oh, he got that. Beautifully played. Agassi was there. Didn't do quite enough for the pass.
No, Safin gave him another look, didn't he, with his backhand? He hit it down the middle of the court there. And Agassi liked to have that pass back because it was a pretty easy volley for Safin. I think Agassi was surprised that he had such a good look at that one.
Deuce.
Slides it wide. Good defense from Safin there. Safin serving at only 50% first serves. Why do you think it is, Cliff, that Safin, in all the matches that we've done with him, his percentage on his serve is never really that good?
I think he started out this tournament just trying to get used to the court.
But I mean, his motion is so good.
It's beautiful.
Fourth ace. I think over time his percentage will get better.
I do too.
He's tall. He's got a great, easy motion.
He's only 20 years old, and I think as important, I think his volley's going to get better too.
I just think I think maybe he doesn't concentrate as much on that first serve.
I don't think he concentrates well in that period yet.
Agassi with his third ace. You know, it's like when Pete Sampras first started out playing, and his first serve, I think, was up and down in the percentage department. But now, when he gets to big matches, Pete Sampras over the years, he just seems to focus in, and he serves 65–70% with the big serve. Oh, that's beautiful.
Does his serve have the potential to get the potential now? I know it's not there yet, but does it have the potential to get as good as Pete Sampras's? I mean, if he, if he gets a higher percentage of second serve, it's only really the second serve.
Yeah, the second serve, I don't think is quite as good. Agassi taking that last backhand on the rise so beautifully, ripping it up the line. And that low volley from Safin, running right through it there.
Good improvisation from Agassi too, and that it was out of reach, so he takes it one hand off the racket, gets it low with one hand. Talent overload there with Agassi, I'll tell you that. He's playing well too. 40 love game points.
Oh, there's a talent there. Another easy hold for Agassi at love.
3-2 Agassi on serve. Safin will serve when he come back. He had to struggle on his last serve game. Let's see how he does on this one. Semi-final Tennis Masters Cup. Agassi first set 6-3, now leading 3-2 in the second. Following tennis today, the FAI's World Cup skiing men's downhill from Beaver Creek. That's going to be at 5 p.m. That is one great place to go, Beaver Creek. I actually prefer it in the summertime. They've got some beautiful golf courses.
You just don't like the cold. You're just all you want is that hot weather.
Yeah.
Come on.
I do. I love Beaver Creek in the summertime. Excuse me. Sampras, Kirtan at 9 o'clock Eastern time. That is the other semifinal today.
Oh, that last love game for Agassi. He's now held serve 37 consecutive games. He lost his serve in the opening set of the round-robin play. Cliff against Kirtan did Agassi, and has held every time since.
I hear you, and it made an impression on me, and it keeps making an impression on me, so keep telling us that. It's nice stuff. Love 15. That's along 15 all.
You know, the best teams in sports, Cliff, be it baseball and basketball, they say, they know how to take care of their home court. Take care of a hold serve. Even though you hear a lot of those guys say, we got to hold serve.
Right.
They use that tennis term. Well,
okay.
Andre Agassi's taking care of his home turf, his serve.
And doing it very effectively. Oh, that's very nice. 30-15. I'm not going to do what you did to me earlier when I was talking about the Australian Open and how many mistakes that Agassi made in his match with Sampras. And I said, how many? And you say 9 in 3 hours. And I had to say 19.
Little talent there from the Russian. Safin.
30-15.
Oh, yeah. A la Agassi there, taking it early. Backhand up the line, using the serve to open the court up.
You just joined us. You should know that Marat Safin had his right ankle taped after he slipped a couple of times. That is good.
Oh, beautiful. Shot making from both guys here. Scintillating stuff. Look at this, Agassi on the dead run. And he hit this topspin lob as well as anyone's ever hit it. So much control. Still game point for Safin. Down the line again. Wow. He's lined it up and tee it up, baby.
Yeah, measured it, waited for it, saw it, and took it.
Look at this. Line it up, cross court. He's just waiting for it. He says, all right, now I'm going to pull the trigger. Agassi not expecting it. Look where Agassi is. Look where he is. He's way over in the backhand corner. Not even close to catching up to that one. 3-all second set.
First set to Agassi, 2 breaks, 6-3. After that ankle taping, I thought that it might be a very quick match with Safin with a good excuse. But it hasn't turned out to be that way. He's been able to hold on. Slipped a couple of times earlier and then went over on his ankle a little bit. Then when he repeated it, he had his ankle taped by Bill Norris. Seems fine for the moment. 15-all.
Oh, what a serve. Beautiful angle there. Able to explode up into that ball. Really helps Agassi hit the angles in both corners. Gets good clearance over the net. Another good first serve. Agassi's 13 for 13 now in the second set when he gets the first serve in. Safin making no impression on the Agassi first delivery.
Game point. And game to Agassi. They'll change ends at 4-3. Agassi leading 6-3 first set. This is the semifinal Tennis Masters Cup. Remember, at 9 p.m. Eastern Time today, you can watch the other one, Kirtan and Sampras, ESPN. Merged with the 4 top players. They also happen to be the 4 top players in the world. It is Marat, Safin, and Andre Agassi now in the first match. The second match again, 9 o'clock tonight on ESPN, will be Pete Sampras, USA, as he takes on Gustavo Kirtan. Love 15, Safin serving to Agassi. On serve in the second, 4-3. Agassi leads. Agassi won the first.
It's 15-all with the big serve. New balls Safin serving with here after 7 and then 9 games. Oh, and that return from Agassi. Meeting it early out in front. Great, he's been reading the serve pretty well from Safin at times. Look at that, leaning on that. Beautiful contact just inside the line. Safin sensing that end may be near. That's not the smart play there at 15-30, 3-4. Trying to stay in the match.
We break points. When I said the 4 top players in the world here in the semi-final, folks, there was a little bit of license I was using there. In my book, they are with Agassi, Sampras. They didn't finish up in the top 4. That was Safin, Kirtan, Sampras, and Norman in order.
Oh, he tries it again. Oh, don't be trying that again. Agassi is too eager in this one. He's moving too well.
And he's got the break now in the second. He will serve for a place in the final of the Tennis Masters Cup.
I'm not going to get away with that play against Andre Agassi. And that cord, he could have just got in, hit it deep, but instead, that's just mind cramp there.
This is the culmination of the ATP Tour and the Grand Slams. It's now a combined event between the International Tennis Federation and the ATP Tour and the Grand Slams. Again, 8 players, and they qualify all year by gathering points. Now we are down to 4, and Agassi will eliminate 1 if he wins this game. And he hasn't lost a serve game in how many games now, Patrick?
I think we're up to 37 now, Cliff. Looking for number 38 in a row. Starts off with another solid first serve. So much confidence Agassi playing with now.
Marat Safin will probably end up number 1. And Kirtan's got to win the whole thing to overtake him. But the truth is that he has got a lesson yesterday from Pete Sampras and today from Andre Agassi.
The two stalwarts of the 90s sending a message to the young guns. In these last 2 days, we're not done just yet, young boys.
Match point for Agassi.
Safin's picked a fine time to change rackets. Did he break another one? Let's get Miles down there courtside.
After Agassi hit the winner on that last point, Safin actually shattered another one of his tennis rackets.
There was 2 yesterday, 1 today. Match point Agassi. That's it.
Andre Agassi is in the Tennis Masters Cup final here in Lisbon. He came here to Lisbon wondering about his form, in good shape. He has not won a tournament since the Australian Open, which is the first major of the year. But he sure isn't playing like it, Patrick.
Well, you can see how excited he is, and it's great to see Andre Agassi excited to be out there on a tennis court, because that makes the whole sports world take notice of this great game of tennis when Agassi's into it, and he's been into it since he took the court in his first match here, and he's been unbeaten so far here at the Masters Cup, Cliff.
Andre Agassi unbeaten in the round-robin competition. He's now in the final, and he will take on the winner of the match between Pete Sampras and Gustavo Kirtan for the Tennis Masters title in Lisbon. Andre Agassi has sent a very clear message. An easy win over Marat Safin, 6-3, 6-3. He's at courtside now with our own Malavia Washington. So let's go down to the winner and the finalist at this Tennis Masters Cup in Lisbon. Mal.
Andre Agassi, well done again today. 3 matches in a row, straight sets. You looked pretty pumped up after that match point.
Well, yeah, you have to be. I tell you, you can't take anything for granted. And the way Marat can hit the ball, I mean, I just always felt like he was a threat, and I had to remain focused, and it was great to close it out.
In your first service game, you were down a couple of break points, but to me, in your last few matches, that's where you've been really strong, because you haven't lost serve since your first match, the first set against Kirtan.
Yeah, you know, it's so important for me to establish a certain work ethic out here, because I'm not gonna get a lot of easy service games, but I can really start breaking a guy's legs down and then all of a sudden start getting the easy holds at the end of the match. So I have to be willing to pay the price in some long early games. He hit some great shots in that first game. I was just trying to hang in there.
Now, the #1 spot is still up in the air. When you walk out on the court knowing if you beat Safin, you kind of hurt his chances a little bit of becoming #1. Is that in your mind at all when you come out here? Is that some motivation?
Well, yeah, to be #1 in the world, you got to come out and earn it, and nobody's going to give it to him. I certainly didn't have that intention today, and he's had a great year, and I think if Pete plays his best tennis today, Safin will still stay #1. But you got to prove it every week out here.
Well, Andre, you definitely earned it today. All the best in the final.
Thanks so much, Mal.
Congratulations to Andre Agassi, a winner today in the semi-final of this year-ending championship in Lisbon. Well played, 6-3, 6-3. He's in the final.